Hey guys, how's it going? It's Thursday, October 8th. Yesterday I had a couple of Bible studies with my students, and here's what we talked about. We talked about Isaiah. Our verses this week was Isaiah 40, 30, and 31, but we went on ahead and did 28 and 29 as well. So, and here's some things we talked about. First of all, we talked about the background of Isaiah, especially Isaiah 40. And one thing that you had to know, this was during the Babylonian exile. It was funny when I talked to the kids about what was exile. Some of them mistaked them as execution. So this was when the Israelites were exiled and they were in Babylon, exiled from their land. Similar to what happened in Genesis whenever sin entered the world. So we discussed the similarities with that. So Israelites were conquered by Babylon. They were exiled from their land. They returned home, but it wasn't the same. And I experienced this a lot. You know, I live here in West Virginia, Maryland area, and every time I go back to Mississippi, represent, it's not the same, and it's not supposed to be the same. I mean, stuff changes, and it doesn't. You know, things just move, and it just when they went back to it, their land, it wasn't the same. In fact, it kind of got a little more worse. It was worse when they went back to their land. So sort of what happens with nowadays. So here is Isaiah 40 verses 28. And you might remember this one from other videos. Do you not know, have you not heard? Yahweh is the everlasting God, the creator of the whole earth. He never grows faint or weary. There is no limits to his understanding. So we discussed this verse earlier when I started these Bible verses in the week, and this was one of our verses we had to memorize. So Isaiah, and another interesting fact about Isaiah 40, Isaiah was already passed away when this he wrote all of Isaiah, but by this time he was probably already passed away. Now there's some speculations of why here, and the one I go with is he wrote it down and gave it to his disciples. So that's the one I roll with. So you have the two questions, the four explanations. Do you not know? Have you not heard? And then there you go. Yahweh, another word for God, is the everlasting God, the creator of the whole earth. He never grows faint and weary. There's no limits to his understanding. So we understand God more through that verse. We understand the goodness of God, as I would tell the students. 29 states this: He gives strength to the weary and strengthens the powerless. Okay? So what does God give you in return when you follow him, when you realize his goodness? Well, strength and weariness. Okay? I told the students, I mean, if you look closely, I got little bags under my eyes. And most adults, we have these because we are tired. A lot of us are tired. We don't have as much energy as the kids. That's just the way life goes, and we're just tired. But every time we renew ourselves through God, through studying, through prayer, through being with other Christians, through Bible studies and all this, that's how we renew ourselves. So we're going to start on the now. Here's the two verses that we were supposed to try to memorize. Youth may faint and grow weary, and young men stumble and fall. As Christians, we're going to screw up. We're going to mess up. That's just a fact. Okay, we are imperfect people seeking grace and goodness from God, and that is what Isaiah is telling these people. Okay, you messed up, but you will stumble. You will fall. And it's interesting. It says youth and young people, and I told my students yesterday, it's not just young. It's everybody. And one of my students pointed out a very good explanation. He goes, well, you know, in the Old Testament when this was written, some of them lived to be 500, 600 years old. So, you know, honestly, being 90 was kind of young. I was like, oh, you know what? That's a good point. So everybody stumbles, everybody falls, because the Christian life can be exhausting. It can be exhausting. It can be tiresome. Trying to be good all the time. A funny story. Another group I had last night, I asked, and they're young cats, middle schoolers. And I asked them, I said, how exhausting is it to be good? And of course, one of them says, "Oh, it's not exhausting to be good." And sure enough, he got in trouble with his mom when he got picked up. So, so it can be exhausting to be good and follow God in this. But we see here through this scripture, especially in verse 31. Let me read that for you. But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. So we see what we have to do to kind of renew ourselves and renew our spiritual tank, as I like to call it. We have to stay in tune with God. We have to stay on a relationship with God. I'm learning a lot through my marriage, and I'm learning how communication is key. I know that's something they always say, but we're learning through that. We're learning how staying communicated with God fills our spiritual tank, and that's something we learn constantly. But those who trust in the Lord, they will renew their strength, and that's very important. Now we discussed they will soar on wings like eagles, how it's assembly, and how, mountaintop experience. That seems to be what he was aiming for there, what Isaiah was aiming for. And then the last two, they will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not grow faint. It's just more explanation of how we stay tuned to God, that we can keep up our tank. All right. I will leave you with this. 2 Corinthians 4:16. It says this: "Therefore do not give up," John Cena. "Even though the outer person is being destroyed, our inner person is being renewed day by day. Every day is being renewed every day. Even though outside we're wearing down, we need to renew our inner tank every day." Hey, thank you for your time. I know the video is long. I pray for the students, especially around Berkeley County. Our Corona's coming back. I don't know what's going on here. So, I hope everybody stays safe and, social distance, all that stuff. Let's try to get back to normal. All right, later, guys. Bye.